Head to Knoxville, don't be late. Baker's Live, it's gonna be great. June 5th and 6th, mark your date at Dollywood, we'll celebrate. Meet Baker and more cool friends. Live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. Rides, fun, and meet and greet. Baker and pals, the crew's so sweet. Get ready for laughs, cheers, and thrills. Knoxville's the place, it's giving chills. Meet Baker and more cool friends. Live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. June 5th and 6th, don't miss the fun. Meet Baker and friends, it's second to none. Baker and friends, it's second to none.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, and what, if any, you might be. And welcome to this Bederow's Briefs, because as you know, I like to look at Bederow's Briefs. They are always entertaining and filled with good stuff. So when Marissa and Jemima sent me a new Bederow brief last night, Marissa started yelling at me, why are you sleeping? Well, because it's after midnight. Couldn't you just say because I'm lazy? Well, so we're doing it now early in the morning. This is a gift from Jamie. It's not my favorite, the Ohio cornstalks, but it'll work. It's the same alma mater as the Steiner brothers. Thank you, Jamie. I should just put up an address and people could send me their team shirts. See what could be worse than Sue and her Gamecocks. Hey, Billy and Sue. CV is a monarchy. No, I think it would be better if it's a monarchy. Just like us. You have Bederow's Briefs? Yes. Well, the other side has Krusty's Panties, and we have Bederow's Briefs. But thank you, Zach. You should have more blue color on your shirt. Well, I have a lot of blue shirts back there. Isn't the name of the Iowans cornstalks? Everyone is loving the shirt. I suspect Gnome stole the briefs and handed them to Baker. Exactly. Well, each man to his own. Hey, Julie. Hey, lost soul. Cornhuskers. I don't know what that is. But I need to find some weird team shirts. Hey again, loser. Massachusetts people should keep paying taxes so the McAlberts flourish. I don't know if they should. I need Tennessee orange. Well, I do have a Tennessee sign up there, and I have my Tennessee Vols drinking cup. I was supposed to have some Tennessee checkered overalls, but apparently that deal fell through. Well, thank you so much. It's very yellow. I'd much rather have the briefs since we know Bederow showers. In my opinion, crusty, not so much, according to word on the street. I saw someone yesterday. Krusty made fun of Bederow's height. And someone said, if you look like why do I always want to call it the Yeti? That's not what you call it. Why can't I remember what you call your ape man walking in the woods? Sasquatch. No, that's Canadian. But they said Bigfoot. Yes, if you look like Bigfoot, you shouldn't talk about other people's looks. Go blue, hail to the victors. I don't know who they are. Hey, Courtney Regan. Hey, Reby. Go Cox. Have you read the letter to yourself yet? Yes, I did actually try and make a video out of it, but then I thought, no, let's share it. But thank you for supporting for 12 months. I'd rather be short than ugly. Yep. Hey, KDP. Cornhuskers are Nebraska, Ohio Buckeyes, Michigan Wolverines, and South Carolina Gamecocks. Hey, wristband ruler from Kansas. Oh, and by the way, thank you, Shishi, for the raid. Hey, Mass, and thank you for meeting up with us Saturday. You left a good impression on the girls, so at least one of us did. Jamie just beat me. But there's no blue. Well, the name is blue, but the shirt is yellow. No. Hey, Panella. Joyful, thank you for 6 months. Good morning to you as well. Go Buckeyes. That's Steve Buscemi's high school was known as the San Fernando Valley Buckeyes. Gopher gear. You'd look good in maroon and gold striped overalls. I don't know what the Gophers are. I don't even know what a gopher is. And no, I never watched Caddyshack. Did Jamie already leave? Yes, Jamie is back in Wisconsin right now. Rumor has it that she's out battling some cheese deficit. I've sent her an invite, but she sent me a Sue bird back, so maybe she'll join. Maybe I made up a story about what Jamie's doing. Maybe she's just sleeping because she traveled all day yesterday. Well, I'm always double packing, so I'm sure. It also looks more impressive when I stand up. His name is Buscemi. But everyone is going at Minnesota. Minnesota Gophers. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I told her, stay up when you get home and then just sleep as much as you can. Then you can get your clock back to normal. Hey, Wash Bear. Who's back? Backstreet's back. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Yes, me talking about checkered overalls from the Vols. But what we are all here to do is read the new Bederow brief. Because Bederow has been quiet for a little while. He had that, could he be put on Karen's team at Pro Hawk Vicha? On the Bev said, no, we feel there is a conflict of interest, so to protect your client and Karen Reed, you're not allowed to join. Taking that choice away from Aidan and Karen Reed, but according to Runkle, it should be cromulent. I am not a lawyer. I can only relay to his expertise. But as you might also know, Aidan was charged again last week with a felony because he went to D&E Pizza that was empty, yelled in the streets, and then Super Trooper Tully instantly put out new charges against him. How smart it is to go to D&E's Pizza and yell, I don't know. But apparently in Massachusetts, which is a two-party consent state, you're not allowed to just audio record everyone in the streets. So to help the sweet people of CPD, Mark Bederow have sent a letter to Dear Chief Rafferty. Along with co-counsel Bradel, I represent Kearney, who is scheduled to appear in the Stoughton District Court on March 18th in connection with his alleged witness intimidation of Canton Town Selectman Chris Albert on March 4th outside of D&E Pizza, which is owned by Mr. Albert. That matter is being investigated by Detective Brian Tully, no one finer in all of MSP. I write to formally request that the CPD commence a criminal investigation into Mr. Albert for apparent violation of MGL 272, paragraph 99. Interception of wire and oral communication, both generally and regarding the interception of Mr. Kearney's oral communication outside of D&E on March 4th, as detailed below, there is conclusive proof that Mr. Albert repeatedly intercepts oral communication of people outside D&E without their actual knowledge, and B, unlawfully possesses an intercepting device with the intent to commit unlawful interception. See MGL 272, paragraph 99C, 1 and 5. Him and Clara was drinking. That's why when I was in politics, I never got drunk in my own town. You don't make as many mistakes at other towns. But, yeah. If you can't handle a little heckling, you probably shouldn't be a selectman. I would say the first time I got death threats, you were kind of like, what? And then you just got used to it. Yes, I know Nan was there as well. What is the difference between having a surveillance camera inside and outside of the pizzeria? Well, I don't know how the rules are, but for instance, in Denmark, I can have a surveillance camera on my property covering my property. I can't videotape the public. So I can't turn it out. We have a parking lot right outside of my house. That's not, I'm not allowed to just tape anyone who walks around out there. Anyone who comes into my property, I can put a surveillance camera on. The bigger question in this one is the audio recording capabilities on the outside camera, because they will mention it later. But what if you're standing out there talking to your bank? What if you're talking about personal matters? What if you're just talking? Does Chris Albert have the right to record your conversations? If nothing else, Chris Albert needs to be booted off the Special Education Select Board, in your opinion. Yeah, probably. Hey, Paula B. Andrew and Brother Counsel said it's appealable. What is what? I missed something. It's not just that it's surveillance, it's the recording audio. Yeah, the audio is illegal without the two-party consent. Hey, talk time. Yes, you could be talking to your lawyer, or you could have a sexual conversation with your wife. Is he allowed to record that? No, he's not, according to this brief. But let's get into the brief. They will explain why. To the extent that the CPD is incapable of conducting a fair and unbiased investigation due to A, Mr. Albert's position as the town selectman, which grant him oversight over the CPD and your term of employment and compensation. B, the aggrieved party bringing this issue to your attention is Mr. Kearney. Mr. Kearney is a vocal critic of Karen Reid's prosecution and has criticized the CPD, MSP, and Mr. Albert, among others. That was the first footnote. And Mr. Albert's brother, Kevin Albert, serves as a CPD detective and or CPD's vigorous yet unsuccessful attempt to prosecute at least 10 individuals for allegedly intimidating Mr. Albert by exercising their First Amendment right to criticize the prosecution of Karen Reid. Footnote 2. As you are aware, acting upon Mr. Albert's claims of emotional and economic harm, the CPD dedicated staggering resources to prosecute the so-called Canton Nine for expressing their dissatisfaction with the Reid prosecution by protesting across the street from D&E and Richard Schiffer, who left several rubber ducks around various locations in Canton, which criticized the Reid prosecution. Charges were declined or dismissed against all these individuals after courts concluded those targeted for prosecution by the CPD was exercising their First Amendment rights. Additionally, as he did in the instant matter involving Mr. Kearney, on at least one other occasion, Mr. Albert contacted the MSP claiming he was intimidated by a mother and daughter placing rubber ducks near D&E. Not surprisingly, those matters also were dismissed. I would say were also dismissed on First Amendment grounds. Yeah, isn't it wonderful they have so much money to look into benign cases like this, but they couldn't catch their own officers unaliving a young-to-be mother. Yeah, that's weird. I request that you promptly notify me whether you intend to refer this matter to another law enforcement agency. Could be good to hear that because, of course, she's conflicted out of it, as is all of them. Maybe if they get Kevin Albert to do a cold case, he'll forget he's related to someone and be a little more open-minded. The relevant facts. D&E is located on Washington Street in the heart of downtown Canton. As the town's main downtown thoroughfare, Washington Street contains the heaviest pedestrian and vehicular traffic in Canton. D&E utilized two waste cameras, one of which is perched outside, aimed directly at Washington Street and the sidewalk. There are no signs or notice posted at D&E warning customers or passerbys that their private oral communications are subject to being intercepted and recorded. As reflected in Detective Tully's March 5th report, on March 5th, Mr. Albert spoke to Detective Tully at 8:15 a.m. Detective Tully completed a 6-page report and sought Mr. Kearney's custodial arrest for witness intimidation within 49 minutes of learning about the incident. if you don't want to come off as being part of something, maybe not become Mr. Super Cop when Mac Alberts reach out to you, and become the worst cops in the world when you're trying to get Karen Reed for the death of John O'Keefe. We are still waiting for custody reports that should have been made 3 years ago. Videos they find, they'll write reports on half a year later. But 49 minutes after Chris Albert calls Brian Tully, he is ready to get an arrest warrant for Aidan Kearney. Because Aidan drunkenly yelled outside of a pizzeria that was empty. Within less than an hour, they couldn't find more than 10,000 communications between Sandra Birdsmore and her killer. Couldn't find anything. They can't find videos at the CPD. But when a McAlbert is getting, and yes, it's a hazing. Would I have done it? No. But wasting taxpayer money because some drunken people are yelling outside of a pizzeria. Every frat boy should be in prison every weekend. How can you get a paycheck from the government, from you, the taxpayers of Massachusetts, and then make this? And how can you make a report on 6 pages report and already try to get an arrest warrant in 49 minutes? It seems very, very much like some people are special. I thought Trooper Tully was vacated to another troop away from Norfolk County. He was removed from the Norfolk County DA's office. At least if you're trying to claim that there's no abuse of power and there's no sweet talking between certain people of the community, don't do stuff like this. Yeah, probably copy and paste, but that again, you talked to him, you got the video, you watched the video, you went through the video meticulously, found all the things that Aidan said that you believe is an witness intimidation, and then you wrote a report and you're ready to go in 49 minutes. I don't trust any of the CPD to wipe their own behinds without a map, a guide, and a pet hamster to bite them where they sit so they know in which end they have to wipe. But they can do this. If a McAlbert call, we can move instantly. Couldn't even find shards of glass for 6 weeks. But give us a call and we will get you in jail. Oh, by the way, Tully, was he connected to the fake victim? Wasn't he on her phone as well, or was it Krusty Pandy's phone he was connected to? I don't know. I don't know how long the video is. I've only seen clips around, but that could be interesting to see how you can do it so fast. I think it was Bederow or maybe Bradle after Turtle Boy's last hearing that pointed out not every interaction is witness intimidation. Problem is McAlbert wants to claim otherwise. We have 10 people they tried to gag with witness intimidation. They tried to do it with Aidan. When they couldn't get him with witness intimidation because the court said, have you read the U.S. Constitution? You can just open up and say, oh, the First Amendment. Then they magically had Aidan go over to the victim, and they could arrest him this very next day and put him in prison for 60 days. Isn't it magical how things just happens in Canton, and every time it benefits certain people? Can't get a gag order? Well, Aidan attacked a woman and had to go to prison. B and S. Whatever happened to those kids who destroyed the house and unalived the rabbit on video? Albert's kid was involved with that. Where's the report on putting them in jail? Well, probably if they're under 18, you'll never see the report. But I haven't heard anything. Maybe some locals should try and ask for that one. No idea how long it is, just thinking when I watch a 5-minute video and try to find everything, lol. Again, I tried to do this in a video this morning, but because you're reading it and then you're getting into this and then you start thinking, and if I was a police officer, yeah, you would say, okay, this is what I perceive as witness intimidation statements. At 2 minutes and 20, he says, look over your shoulder when you're out delivering pizza. I think that's a statement that could be witness intimidation. At 2 minutes and 46 seconds, he says, bring some sugar cubes to Jen McCabe because Mr. Ed is her dad. Which could be seen as witness intimidation because she is diabetic. You would have to sit there and write minute number and put it in your report. But you can do it in 49 minutes. Tolly tried to help Chris Albert get a restraining order against Turtle Boy before speed dials set up, not butt dials. Yeah, they have butt speed dials. Tolly was transferred to another department, has time on his hands. He's someone to watch. Yeah, he was removed from the DA's office. Is Chris Albert still on the town board? Yes. They could use that saying he's a government official and it's government official intimidation or something. No, they have witness intimidation, which is way stronger. Will they be able to ask Proctor why he is not on the case anymore? This case, he had nothing to do with. Maybe. Some cases they're not allowed to ask about it. Some cases they are allowed to ask about it or infer that they have been removed. The Massachusetts witness intimidation statute is unconstitutional in the first place. Terrible law that has now been weaponized by corrupt DA and MSP detectives and local police. Yeah, I'm not a lawyer. I just read law stuff. That seems like it's overly broad and very tight. And again, I can understand protecting witnesses, but there's also a fine line about dictatorship. Number three. Where the hell? Why can't I find footnote number 3? Footnote number 3. Now I lost it. I blame Zach. Oh, sure. Oh, there it is. As reflected in Detective Tollitt's March 5th report outlining Mr. Kearney's alleged witness intimidation on March 4th, Mr. Albert acknowledges that D&E's exterior camera intercepts and records audio from anyone within its range. See Exhibit A at P2. The camera located on the exterior of the building is audio recorded. I don't have the exhibits. At P5, audio is captured by an exterior camera. In other words, Mr. Albert admits that he can and does intercept and record private oral communications made by anyone in D&E's proximity, irrespective of their ignorance to the fact they are being dropped and recorded. Mr. Albert alleges that on March 4th, at approximately 10:20 p.m., he listened from the safety of his home to surreptitiously recorded video of Mr. Kearney addressing Mr. Albert and his son Colin about their Reed testimony. See Exhibit A, P2. Mr. Albert alleges that he was very upset about Mr. Kearney's statements. Although not relevant to this issue or whether Mr. Albert is in violation of MGL 272, paragraph 99. The video depicts Mr. Kearney facing an interior camera rather than the audio-enabled exterior camera, which is located at the far end of the property. Oh, and there's a footnote saying the Stoughton District Court denied the request for arrest warrant, and it looks like it popped in the wrong... No, that's an exhibit. Sorry, that was about... They didn't get a arrest warrant for Aidan. What I miss, I've been unavailable, detaining, carving my way down the slopes towards the valley, the Cauca. If anyone wants anything from the alley, hit me up and I'll send the baker to pass on. Brandon, you missed that a witness intimidated might have been breaking the law by recording people not aware they are being recorded in a two-party consent state. So I believe in a fair state, that could spell trouble. Let's see, only 2 errors, unavoidably and Cali. I thought it was Aldi you spelled wrong, but if you're going to Aldi, I liked some of that chocolate milk. Mass has a tight wiretapping statue too. I'm glad I don't live there. Yeah, because now the funny part. What did they want to get Aidan for with his recording of the victim? Wiretapping. So it's the same problem they have now, that he claims he informed her he was recording it. They claim, well, they snipped it together to make it seem she gave consent. But here, no consent was given. So anyone who... if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. I believe that's a saying Special Pro Sector Brennan has. And let's find out if it really is, because we now have this communication to Chief Rafferty, and I bet you I can poop rainbows before they follow the law equally on both sides. Cali, Colombia, they don't make chocolate with the cocoa plants down here. Oh, yeah, get me some of that. Stay away from that. The MA witness intimidation statute has a much lower bar than what is required in order to obtain an RO or HBO in mass. Big issue, and the McAlbert's DA Meatball Morrissey and his goon have weaponized it. Yes, that's a problem. MGL 272/99 requires the consent of all parties for the recording of oral communication. The statute's preamble details the legislator's concern with the uncontrolled development and unrestricted use of modern electronic surveillance devices, which pose grave dangers to the privacy of all citizens of the Commonwealth. Accordingly, a stated legislative intent of the statute is to ensure that the secret use of such devices by private individuals must be prohibited. Unlike the Fourth Amendment, MGL 272/99 provides protection to the aggrieved person, a non-consenting recorded party, even where that individual does not have a reasonable expectation of privacy. Commonwealth v. Do. Consequently, a recording made on a public sidewalk or thoroughfare may violate the statute. See ID at 471. Secret recordings made on cell phones in public places, including sidewalks, held illegal. Under the Massachusetts statute, a recording is made secretly and thus illegally, where it is made without the actual knowledge of the person being recorded. ID at 478. This means that Mr. Albert has no absolute right to record oral communications made by someone positioned on a public sidewalk or street within range of D&E's audio camera. Yet this is precisely what D&E's exterior camera is set up to do. Mr. Albert's blanket audio recording of individuals outside of D&E without their actual knowledge constitutes a felony under MGL 272-99 C1, which states that any person who willfully and secretly audio records another without prior authority by all parties to the communication is guilty of a felony. Significantly, the statute contains an evidentiary presumption that proof of the installation of any intercepting device by any person under circumstances evincing an intent to commit an interception which is not authorized or permitted by this section shall be prima facie evidence of a violation of this subparagraph. Put simply, Mr. Albert's installation of a recording camera, while aware that it would record audio without the actual knowledge of the intercepted parties, conclusively establishes that he is in violation of the statute. Additionally, separate and apart from the March 4th, 2025 incident, Mr. Albert's mere possession of the camera with the intent to audio record another without his or her agreement constitutes a misdemeanor under MGL 272-99C5. So, little bit of a problem. Little bit of a problem for the good Chris Albert, Mr. 30 Hours. The man who spent 6 months in prison because he unalived another person in traffic, but now serves as a distinct member of the Canton Board of Trustees, or whatever they call them. This sounds like wiretapping. Is he accused of wiretapping? They are respectfully reaching out to the chief of the police to make charges against Chris Albert for having a camera outside of his pizzeria that audio records everything, because that's against the rules in Massachusetts. So if they want to use the law against Aidan, they are going to use the same laws against the McAlberts. So let's see if the MSP reads the law exactly the same way. They kind of seem to do this every time the McAlberts are involved. And it is a two-party consent state, so it shouldn't be illegal. I live in a two-party state. Even on my private property, my attorney told me I need to post this. Yes, and it's this exact same law they are using against Aidan in the case with Lindsay, where they claim he illegally recorded her when she spurred out and yelled about going to his driveway to get rid of a fetus. It makes you wonder if Chris was using the illegal surveillance for the Canton PD and for the CARE trial. CARE? I don't know what the CARE trial is. Think of the things that he could have heard by surrounding the community. Isn't there like a bench outside, a public bench right outside? You could probably get the best city gossip when someone is like the weather we had in Copenhagen. I would have sat outside of a bakery chit-chatting with someone. You can pick up a lot of good stuff. I should have done a live on Aidan's live from over the weekend. He said something about it's theoretically the Karen Reid if theoretically the Karen Reid defense had an expert witness gonna drop a bombshell theory in court, he wouldn't know. Well, none of us would know if it's theoretically. Doesn't matter if it's one party or all party state. He isn't a party to the convo, so it doesn't matter. I love that you have Doink the Clown's logo, but it's a smart towel. Doink the Clown isn't a smart towel. Talking about Doink the Clown, he's hearing reports that the number of media applications for the Karen Reed trial is skyrocketing. The weekly pool for 10 media seats could climb as high as 100 people. I'll be in school until May, but I'm bringing on a special correspondent for the coverage. She's amazing. Let it be Krusty Pandies. Let her be... I want to see her in court looking like a troll who forgot to sit under her bridge and get the little sheep that run across. Baker, do you have a bidet in your house? I'm not French. But thank you, Zach. But if you're video recording and automatically get voice right, I can actually set mine, my security cameras. I can shut the audio off. If it's constantly running, it would also be a recording minors. It doesn't matter if they're minors or adult. It's illegal. Yes, there is a public bench, and the entrance to CF McCarty's is in range as well. Yeah, so you can get all the drunks. Again, the thing I was wondering when I read that, he was sitting at the comfort of his home listening to it. Why is he sitting at home looking at his surveillance camera feed at 10:20 at night? Isn't it weird? Gravity will never charge Albert with anything. They pay her wages. That's the problem is, well, so do all the other people in Canton. But he has the right to raise them or lower them. Maybe she can get those 300,000 for a new kitchen if she plays ball. Who knows? Turtleboy should bring a lawsuit against Chris Albert. I don't know on what grounds she could do it, other than maybe the wiretapping, but I don't know if it can do it. My security cam records audio. It has an option in the app to disable it. I'm pretty sure all security cameras have an option in the app to disable it. Yeah. Again, my cameras is inside my house because I live in a not that big of a house, and they can cover the two entrances to my house pretty easy. So I don't need outside cameras. If I'm getting that, of course, I don't want to have audio, because then you will also hear when the neighbors are having a party and it'll play. So I would also have it on motion detection if it's outside, so it'll kick on if there's motion. Kind of like a Sallyport video, hopefully without the 42-minute gaps in it. Creep? I don't know who's the creep. If Rafferty did bring charges, I'm sure they'll reserve a spot next to the spot they reserved for Turtleboy, and possibly where the real Chloe is in Cape Cod. Maybe. Rafferty is a joke who writes no tampering lol as a police chief on an official response, just childish in my opinion. I've been covering cases for almost 3 years on YouTube now. Before that, I followed LawTube for 2 years probably. I have never ever seen this level of incompetence in anyone. And it's not the new guy who just started last week who, I forgot to bring my notebook, so I forgot to make a report. These are seasoned, highly placed police officers who make basic bitch mistakes and laugh it off when they get caught, because they know we will never ever get in trouble. What about the guy inside the house? Don't worry about him. He's also a cop. Remember that word? Hey, crazy busy mom. Other factors warranting an investigation. It is essential that the CPD be even-handed in determining whether to investigate potential criminal violation without regard to any relevant party's view on a controversial matter of public concern, such as the merits of the Reed prosecution. Here, there's overwhelming evidence that a town selectman and longtime business owner is violating the law and flagrantly invading the privacy interest of anyone who makes oral communication within range of D&E's exterior camera. Failure to investigate here will lessen the public confidence in the CPD's ability to apply to the law in an unbiased manner and to protect the public without regard to a possible offender's prominent political status in the community, his family's close relationship with the CPD, and his involvement in and enthusiastic support of the prosecution of Karen Reed. And it looks like something, it's probably just the date. Moreover, Mr. Albert's prior dissemination of recordings from D&E camera to mock supporters of Karen Reed at the same time he has repeatedly and unsuccessfully accused several of them of intimidating him is troubling and supports the need for investigation. On September 26, 2024, Mr. Albert arranged for the public release of a video from one of D&E's cameras to humiliate an individual who had the temerity to peacefully exercise her First Amendment rights by writing FKR, Free Karen Reed, on her vehicle window while it was parked in front of D&E. Mr. Albert recorded himself watching this video. He referred to the woman as a loser and a disgusting female dog, and then instructed someone to take her picture. Within a few hours, this video was provided to Catherine Peter, who promptly posted it on X, see Exhibit B. It stands to reason that if a town selectman is undeterred from making such inappropriate comments about his constituents or town visitors, and he is brazen enough to publicly disseminate the video to shame someone exercising her right to free speech, he is more than willing to secretly intercept and record oral communication made by others outside of his place of business. For these reasons, we request that the CPD investigate whether Mr. Albert's interception of oral communication of Mr. Kearney on March 4th or of anyone else within range of the cameras located at D&E violates MGL 27299. Respectfully, Mark A. Bederow and Timothy Bradel, Aidan Kearney. Again, I like Mark Bederow. I wish we could have him back as a guest on the different shows because he has a way with words, and I love that we can live in memory of his great words through his wonderful briefs in this case, because no one who reads this can read it as any other thing than, Chief Rafferty, we double dare you. Are you going to play fair, or are you going to show the world that you are one-sided and, in my words, a biased female dog? What if Rafferty just ignores this letter? Well, I can tell you that by now, Aidan probably read it. I know the Glare read it last night because I woke up in the middle of the night and saw he was going on about it. I read it to 800 people right now. Probably when this is said and done, that's the first 10,000 people who've seen this. I will almost guarantee you the young jerks will have a look at it. Probably Melanie Little. Probably Andrea Burkhardt, Peter Tragos, DY, Tommy. So if Rafferty just ignores this letter, we can't do anything to her. But we can show the world how she is. And this is why all you people who go around and follow all of our channels and help us by doing all the likey poo and stuff, and promote it. This is what we can do. We can show how the law isn't fair in Canton. Even though we can't really do anything to her, we can show the world that what they're doing to Karen Reid isn't just to Karen Reid. Police isn't fair in Canton. The law isn't equal in Canton. I don't know anything about Canton. I kind of know where Massachusetts is on a map. But I know that that state has the Karen Reid case, the Aidan Kearney case, the Sandra Birchmore case, the Eduardo Garcia case. All those four scream that there's something wrong with the law in Massachusetts. The more of you who go around and raise a stink about it, maybe at some point even the people in power can't ignore it anymore. People like the governor, who I know, before you all tell me again, she used to be a Fed or a cop. She's friends with all of them. At some point it becomes a political vulnerability, and there's nothing, trust me, I've been in politics for 20 years, there's nothing politicians hate more than not being able to be reelected. They will go very far to get their seat back, because cha-ching, cha-ching, it's all about the money, money, money. It's all about the No one in Canton cares. It's a setup to help the ones in power. They literally have gotten away with unaliving many times. A letter isn't going to do anything. That said, Bederow is amazing. Well, I know people in Canton cares. I've seen the people outside of the courtroom. I know some are driving there. I know local people are there. I know some people got in a little bit of a tiffy-taff over something. I don't know what's the reason why someone got a little mad of the locals. I know that there are people running for offices now because of this. The good old boys will do whatever they can to keep them out. But you can help them. You can bring awareness to the problem that is the Massachusetts State Police, and especially the Canton Police Department. I know we can't change anything. I can't vote. I'm an idiot in Denmark. But you can help raise awareness. And that's the thing we can do. Chris Albert is a selectman with oversight of CP. The whole town is incestuous in its power pyramid. It's a family tree with no branches. Small towns have that all over the world. We see it everywhere. Politics has become a business. It's a family business. And sadly, it shouldn't be. It should be, okay, I want to do good for like a couple of years and then, boom, out of here, move on. But people have, as I tend to say here in Denmark, politicians have become the new nobility. All the counts and dukes we used to have has now become politicians. Because it's a business for them. They run for office and they get stuck there for 30 years. How is anyone going to bring anything new to the town if it's the same idiots who've been there for 30 years? And whenever a spot opens up, they select who comes in and takes the spot. That's a really big problem. What kind of politics were you into? I have been local level and national level. Only thing I haven't ran for is the EU Parliament. I couldn't agree with you more, Baker. We need to understand, if they can do this in Canton, they can do it anywhere. Civil and constitutional rights are being infringed upon. And the only thing, and I'm a grifter. I'm a grifter by the grace of God. Yes, I cover this case because there's views in it. There's clicks in it. It's all the things that we like as grifters. But I feel, and maybe tell me if I'm just seeing it totally wrong, but I see myself as a part of the Free Karen Reid movement now. Because in the beginning, I went into it and said, I do like I do in every other case. I'll see when there's a hearing, and then we'll talk about it. And then I saw the picture. And Jamie and I was like, that's a weird view. And then you started getting more and more and more and more into it. And the more you see, the more you hate. And the more you want to help. The more you want to raise awareness. I can't do much from here other than try to raise awareness, try to make fun of everyone who is on the other side. My daily ritual is always telling Smurf they are short bus people on Twit. I've been doing those panel shows the last 2 weeks so we can talk about the stuff. There's so much out there to do to keep the spotlight on all these people who thinks they can treat you like you're dirt because we're politicians. We're better than you. No, you're not. Politician means servant of the people. They should act on your behalf. They shouldn't tell you how to live your lives. Thank you so much, Citizen Dane, for a big O super sticker saying, "Woot." Thank you so much. Always nice when a few fellow Danes swing by. Should have been with us in Copenhagen this weekend. Og jeg elsker stadigvæk dit Arne-billede. Det er perfekt. I think Karen's case has opened some eyes. Yeah, and if you look at the law tubers, I'm not a law tuber because I don't do law. I do layman stuff. But if you look at the law tubers, people who are normally pro-prosecution or maybe takes a little more convincing to swing to the defense side, people who maybe is very open-minded for both sides, all of them is now squarely against Special Protector Brennan. I have not seen a case like this where everyone is agreeing that there's so much shenanigans going on. From Danian on the west side of the US to little old me in Denmark, everyone in between is agreeing this is just a farce. This shouldn't be allowed to go on. But sadly, in Canton it does, and I find it very disturbing. And especially, we know nothing will come of this letter. It's a great letter. It's a smackdown where he's saying, "I'm using your own words against you." Sadly, nothing would change because they don't care. They will just say and go on with the case. I'm just very disturbed by it. Not just Karen Reed, but Delphi, Koberger, and YSL. Our legal system is broken. He will try to screw a wealthy white male celebrity, but failed. Yeah, there's a lot of cases out there. There's a lot of weird stuff going on about and remember, as I've said many a time, if Karen didn't have the biggest in all of Massachusetts, they would have gotten her with a manslaughter plea deal, maybe made it a sweetheart deal in 5 years or something like that, and she would have been in prison. And they would just have moved on like nothing mattered. Where's the thin blue line? Where's the we fight for our brothers? I'm calling guilty this go around. Brandon, we need someone to disagree, so normally it's Sue, so in this trial it'll be you. But we'll have to see if we can convince you otherwise. But thank you. At least Canton residents will avoid that place if they know they're being recorded. I think it's more because of the mediocre chicken and palm. Market 8, dude. Sometimes I wish I understand one. I assume YouTube, Google can reach into the chat to time somebody out. I don't know what that means. I went into Karen's trial blind with Emily D. Baker, and by the end of day 1, I thought, oh my God, if this opening is true, I think she's framed. Yeah, and let me just say, watching EDB, Emily D. Baker, if you don't, you all know her. Very, very great YouTuber covering cases. Very experienced. If she is as staunch as she is on, I'm always afraid she's going to get an aneurysm or a stroke when she watched this trial. She's an old prosecutor, and the way she's yelling at Special Prosecutor Brennan, something's wrong here. And I don't know what to say. But yeah. The thin blue line is around. Yes, that's where it was. Paul O'Keefe, pure evil. Yeah. Just guessing the verdict just because you're guilty doesn't mean you did it. No, I don't think they'll find her guilty. I still think if they want to land, again, just speculating, if they want to have a conviction in this case, they should remove the second degree. They could get her on the OUI. I believe that a jury, because sadly jurors don't understand reasonable doubt. So if they just went in and said, hey, we believe she was intoxicated and hit him, they will probably say, yeah, sounds reasonable. No matter what. We know the ARCA guys didn't sway them the first time. We know they were looking for something. So if they just want a conviction, they should remove the second degree and then just go with the OUI. But what I don't understand, as I said Sunday, they gave them the perfect setup to get out of this case. The defense actually was more than fair, because they could have yelled about everyone at the police office, but they only talked about Proctor. Proctor is out the door. He's in his disciplinary hearing. If I was Special Prosecutor Brennan, if I was Lally, if I was Meatball Morrissey, if I was Lady of the Claw, Bev, I would say, no, we're going to drop this case and we're going to pin it on Proctor. We believe Karen Reed is absolutely guilty, but we can't prove it because he destroyed the evidence. He's been fired because of his misconduct, but we would, if he had followed the rules, we would have gotten her. Then they come out of it without egg on their face. But they don't. They want to take it to trial. They want to bring in a neuroscientologist to talk about the injuries is consistent with hitting frozen dirt. Well, that's not part of your education. You can't testify to that. In a reasonable world, Bev would say, you can't make that testimony. We saw with Dr. Cesar Milan, she'll let in anything as long as it's by the prosector. But I said it when we had Ronglon. I really like Alessi, and he's a technical guy. He will read everything you need to cross-examine these people. Not that AJ wasn't good, but this guy will go in and do it on a molecular level and say, but this, but this, but this, but this. And you'll have all of these expert witnesses stammering on the stand. And I think that will be great for the defense during the trial. Even by some stretch, she was guilty. This case is still madness. The way everything is being done, total disgrace. Linda, the AC Ninja. Cool name. I agree with you. Because even if she hit him, I still can't see any way they could prove it with, because they had their first trial. The state's first trial is their best trial because now the defense kind of knows where they're going. They can prepare for the second trial. They can bring in new experts. The state can't really do that. They have to stick to a theory. So the first trial will be the strongest trial for the state. And they didn't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. And again, that's the thing all the short bus people don't understand. You have a rule in America that's called beyond a reasonable doubt, not any doubt. It's not that could it have been someone else. No. Is there reasonable doubt she didn't do it? Yes, because technical evidence clearly shows he wasn't hit by a car. That's the reasonable doubt you need to get out of that one. But even if she did it, this still shows that there's a two-tiered justice system in Canton where your last name means more than the U.S. Constitution, more than Massachusetts law. And that shouldn't be that way. So Alessi is Jamie's new Amore. That's a bad one. Even people like Peter Trakers was shocked by Bever loving the dog behavior guy. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Peter is normally very open for both sides. He's not one who... I kind of go really fast one way or another. I'll always say, of course, you're innocent until proven guilty. But I can still hate a guy like Adam Montgomery before the trial starts because I'm pretty sure he was guilty. But you still have to say, well, the defense have their rights to put on a defense. But there's Peter is way more middle of the line and saying, okay, I can see both sides. But that's gone. And that's what I'm saying. If Peter Trakers and EDB both look like they're about to have an aneurysm whenever they watch this trial, something's messed up. Something is messed up. The juror interview shows how incompetent they really are. The jury or the police? Oh, and by the way, yes, even Peter can see it's a farce. Did you all see when Peter did that run-through of the Morrissey hostage video? All the short bus people who was in his chat because, oh, he might swing the other way. They flipped, and now he doesn't understand the law. I saw, what's her name? Julie Carpenter, whatever, sitting yesterday and saying he was stupid on Twit. Just because we don't see things as you doesn't mean we're evil, stupid, or anything. And if you liked them Monday because you thought they was going to say something you liked Sunday, well, then you are the stupid person when you get angry because they don't say it. I just can't with these short bus people. It's like I said yesterday in Tommy's chat. On the free can read side, you have people like Bederow. You have the Arca guys. You have Dr. Russell. On the opposite side, they have a guy who never went to the crime scene. They have Krusty Panties. They have Doink the Clown. They have the Human Thumb are the big supporters there. We have Peter Trakos, the Glarer, Aidan. All of them seems very much more prepared to do intelligent conversations with people than the rest of them. But imagine your dream team, the one you leaked to that the Fed investigation was over. So you could get ahead of it and you could stand there and get your 5 minutes of fame in court. And then Bev ruined it all by having that hearing. By the way, Bev, are you going to go look into who leaked to the human thumb and crusty panties that the feds were done? Because remember, tainting the jury pool is a very big problem, and the defense should really, really not do it. Who leaked the feds were done before that hearing? Are you going to call Christina Rex to the stand? Are you going to call Boston 25? Are you going to demand their notes? Because only 3 sources could have leaked it to those people. It's the feds. They don't do it. It's Chief Rafferty or her office. Or it's Special Prosector Brennan. Let's take away the feds. Are you going to make sure the jury pool isn't contaminated again, like the first time when Meatball Morrissey did his hostage video? Who's leaking on your side, Bev? Because, yes, you are a part of the prosecution because you are so biased. Shouldn't that be a problem you should look into? Funny that Plevin, of all people, Plevin, knew it before the press. Wasn't there some fire about reaching out to influencers? Yeah, I don't know. He's actually a nice guy, so I feel bad. Zach forced me to type this, but he just favors whichever side will get his harem of young female viewers to take their eyes off the road and check their phone. That's why I can't bring Zach's messages up on my channel. I blocked him. You know that, Brandon, because you're one of the mods. You know he's blocked. Zach is just out here trying to get... I think it's, in French, it's called the poussée. But thank you, Brandon, for... I knew it was Zach who forced you to write it. You would never. Crispy Bacon is listening and getting fired up again. Yeah, that's the problem. Every time you read something in this and then you start talking and thinking... Yeah. Is there any motivation for the feds to be done? No. Again, let me say this again. I've said it for 2 years. The feds are not saving Karen Read. Don't trust the feds. Anyone who have told you the feds are coming Monday to save Karen Read, or Tuesday, or whatever day they made it out to be, lied to you. Like in the Birdsmore case, until you see the feds ain't doing nothing. Remember all the rumors? Well, they were at this house getting info. They went to this place and talked to someone. The only constant when it comes to the feds, because the feds are just police officers like the MSP, like the CPD, until the new steel shackles slip around someone's wrist. Don't trust the feds. And anyone who will tell you, well, I have special sources, the only special sauce they have is when they take a little bit of sriracha and a little bit of barbecue sauce and put it together. But it works. I could make clickbait for that as well. I have a special source telling me that the feds is looking into Rafferty. Because you can't disprove it. Because the feds won't talk about what they're looking into. When I read Rafferty's statement, we are done with the investigation of the death of John O'Keefe. You could read that as, why didn't they say the murder? You could read it as, okay, so it's only the death part. They're still looking at the incompetence from the police, potential conspiracies. Or it could just be, yeah, we don't care anymore. We don't know. But that's why we should support Karen Read and her defense team and bring a light to this case, because the feds won't do it. And anyone who will say, well, just trust the feds, are lying to you. It took the feds 2 years. 2 years to get to the Sandra Birchmore. I don't believe the feds came into Canton to look at Karen Reed. I believe they came in to look at Sandra Birchmore. And I don't have any knowledge about anything else going on. I don't have any special team of 5 from when I was a DA agent. I don't have anyone who tells me anything other than never, ever trust the feds. Could they come save the day? It would be wonderful. But remember, General Custer also ended up standing alone when he was the cavalry who was supposed to save everyone. Zach is getting me too. Yeah, I like that we put a little D in the end of that one. Not that I've heard rumors. Now that the feds are finished, does it open up the Arca guys to talk more? Well, technically, it should open up all the 3,600 pages because there's no ongoing investigation, so all of that should be unsealed. Because Bev said it was impounded because of an ongoing investigation. If there's no longer an ongoing investigation, shouldn't you be able to FOIA those 3,600 pages? Just got Apple Care. I lost my phone last night. NB, when life shatters you and your phone to pieces, just gotta pick him up and put him back together. I hope you're doing good, Brandon. Nothing's bad going on. Yeah. Yeah, the feds haven't done anything useful in the last decade, at least. They are evolved into political security force for the DN. I don't want to take party sides on this. Probably someone would claim it's the other way. Well, it's my way of making a little fun of crusty panties and Beverly Rose briefs. The reports of Zach's death are greatly exaggerated. It is. Yeah, the feds move, and that's why I'm saying don't trust the feds to come in and save the world. Keep trucking, keep supporting, keep doing whatever you do. Do the standouts, do the post on Twitter, Facebook. Help each other. Read the information out there. Watch the streams out there. Tell other people about it. My own daughter, who doesn't watch my crap, asked me the other day and said, well, that Karen Reed case is kind of weird. And then we talked about, she's living in Denmark. She has no interests other than, well, I'm just at home with the baby and want to be entertained. She can see it's wrong, and she's just started watching it. I've seen this lady on TikTok who just started the case. I can't remember her name, but are we all right? Are we all right? I love her. The one thing Brennan has for him, he gives discovery. If Lally was still prosecuting, nothing new would have been shared. Yeah, agreed, but also he lies so effing much. That's my big problem with Brennan, and he lies so easily. He just stands there and say, well, I got this from the feds. And no, it was turned over by the state. Oh, I have to correct the record. Mr. Yannetti made out-of-court statements. Oh, I have to correct the record. Why isn't Bev sanctioning him when he was demanding sanctions against the defense? 2 tears. 2 tears. I don't know why. But sadly, that's how it works. I need this phone touched up, Rage. You can chuck it for me if you want. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Brandon today. But interesting new letter. Interesting discussions going on. Next week is going to be the big week. They're supposed to have the final days in court. Was it the 18th and the 19th? I might be trying to put together a panel for Sunday as well to see, because there should be some filings going on this week. Do all the YouTube things, and thank you all so much for watching. Go out there, and just remember, no one's going to save Karen but us by helping keep the spotlight on the two-tier justice system. And thank God that they have so competent lawyers, both on Aidan's case and on Karen's case, because they need it against these idiots.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
Objection, Your Honor.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No,
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
no,
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
probably did. Everybody has.
So there-
Everybody has.